Then start streaming. Booyah! Hi, welcome everybody. We're doing a podcast because we like to talk shit about a lot of things, and we figured other people might like to enjoy it.
Have we ever done that before?
But have people enjoyed something that we've done? No.
No. Have we done a podcast before?
No, absolutely not. We've never done a podcast.
Have we talked shit about things before?
Absolutely. All the time.
Alright, so we got one of our bases covered.
We got one. But anyways, if you don't know who we actually are, this is Madamus. I'm Ray. And Rhiannon didn't want to be on camera, but she might speak. There she is. Boom! And then there will probably be dogs that show up. You can see the butt of one of the dogs in the camera right now. The leg moved. There it is.
Right.
Yeah, that's Oreo.
Right here.
And I have Obi underneath me. And
almost got a nose
you'll
in there.
probably see him at some point. Alright. Matt, starting it off, you got anything? I told you to bring like 1 to 2 things to talk about. Did you do your homework?
I was told very specifically two topics.
Okay.
And I know one of them for sure.
Yo, did you have another one?
The other one could be anything. It's like a grab bag kind of deal, right?
Okay.
But the one I really wanted to talk about is actually a little bit old. It's like from 1 or 2 weeks ago. But it's the social uproar regarding the Colin Kaepernick.
Oh,
the Colin Kaepernick Nike ad.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Oh my god.
So, for any of you that don't actually go on the internet ever, 1, I'm concerned how you found this podcast, and 2, I'm sure you've seen it, where Colin Kaepernick's face was on the cover of Nike magazine, or not Nike magazine, it was just on a promotional art, saying,
believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything.
Yeah.
Was the ad, and then it had, had their Nike logo.
Nike swoosh.
Whatever.
And then there was the much better Bobby Boucher meme where it was like, believe in something even if mama says it's the devil.
I mean, the memes that have come out of this ad are absolutely far and away some of the best memes we've seen in years.
Oh yeah, that was the only good thing to come out of the ad.
It was so good. As a connoisseur of memes, I can appreciate, at the very least, that aspect. And actually, to be entirely clear, I don't actually think there was necessarily anything inherently wrong with the ad itself. I don't think it really has anything at all to do with Nike merchandise because, I guess in some sense,
does.
but like, the ad itself wasn't actually promoting Nike merchandise, right?
No.
It's just like, if it had like a picture of Colin Kaepernick wearing a bunch of Nike stuff, that's one thing, but
I mean, you have to play the sport again in order for that to happen.
Shit, boy.
Yeah.
But
he
anyway,
sucked, so it's not funny.
for those of you who live under a rock, the deal with this is, of course, Colin has become famous for his protest where during the national anthem at the NFL games, he has been kneeling instead of standing. The idea of that is to draw attention to racism in America, where he feels that African Americans are being treated unfairly. A lot of people were very upset about this, thinking that it was disrespecting, active military and veterans and things like that, was un-American, and it was big uproar about this, right? So, and whatever you're, I'll get to that, I guess. But anyway, then those same people, right, who are very up in arms about this protest being un-American and disrespectful and whatever, obviously then get very upset about this Nike ad, right? And there's a huge uproar about it. People posting on Twitter and Facebook like, "Oh, never buying anything from Nike again," and like Nike is un-American, and everyone who works for Nike should kill themselves. And then like there's all these people who are literally like setting their Nike merchandise on fire.
Oh yeah.
It's like fucking ridiculous, right? So, whole big deal. And I guess I kind of have two problems with all of this. One is that these people who are upset about this are frankly retarded, because the protest very clearly has nothing at all to do with military, right? And the people who are saying that it does just don't get it, right? Like, they just don't understand, right? And they come up with all these like anecdotes about, oh well, there's so many different ways that he could have protested, right, racism in America, right? And then they give suggestions, right, of things that he could have done, like such as just stayed in the locker room, right, during the national anthem, or just done something completely. It's like, first of all, do you think if he just stayed in the locker room during the national anthem that anyone would have any fucking idea he was even doing that? Like, no. The entire point, right, of this protest is to draw attention to the cause, right? Now, whether or not you actually believe in the cause, right, I personally am under the impression that while racism certainly exists in America, it is far overblown and overstated by the quote-unquote marginalized groups. But that's an entirely different topic, right? And the idea that we're talking about here is like, if the goal is to draw attention to something, and you don't draw attention to things by not doing things that are confrontational.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm gonna bring you back, because you're ranting, like, way out of here now. Back to the actual Nike ad, right?
Well, you have to understand the cause of the frustration, though.
Yeah, but like, if you don't know what we're talking about, you're not going to like understand.
I think I did a pretty good job of explaining it.
Yeah, I think you're fine. I really, both sides of this that feel very strongly about it, I think are stupid. In all honesty, for the people that are like, "Oh my God, Colin Kaepernick's a hero," no, he's not. He was an average football player who does absolutely nothing for his community and wanted to make a big name for himself. Which he did.
Yeah.
Which is really my only problem with the ad, is where he's like, believe in something and you sacrifice everything. If anything, he's gained way more than he sacrificed.
Oh, yeah.
By
for
doing
sure.
it.
I mean,
people are like, no, he lost his football career. I'm like, yeah, but he was like shit at football. He wasn't going to make it that long anyway.
Was it great? Yeah, I think the idea, though, is that in that whole process, he kind of gave up any chance that he had of ever having a legitimate football career, which, by the way, I think is fucking ridiculous, because, like, the fact that he would be denied the opportunity to play in the NFL for protesting racism blows my fucking mind. Like, absolutely just, like my brain implodes.
I mean, yeah, I get protesting, like, racism, but I think there's, like, a definite, like, you have to, like, at least understand, like, what you're protesting. Because he was protesting that, like, police brutality is, like, way more against, like, black people than it is anybody else. Which, like, statistically is, like, not even close to being true. But there was, like, the whole, like, hands up, don't shoot thing, which was also not true. That, like, exploded is really where it started from.
Yeah.
So really, I think, like, if you want to protest something, that's fine. At least be somewhat educated.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand, I think, with the Black Lives Matter movement, which is another thing I could rant about for however long you would like me to. But yeah, the gist of it is that, like, a problem exists, right? But and this is actually true for a majority of the, like I say again, quote-unquote marginalized groups, movements in America, is that there is a problem that exists, but the people who are affected by that problem care far more about bitching and complaining and making the problem seem like it's a way bigger thing than it really is, than they actually care about fixing the problem itself, which in some cases is really easy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because oftentimes the problem really is quite small. But human nature, I guess, makes it so that anytime someone feels like they've been treated unfairly, right, their number one instinct is not to, either A, make sure that they're not treated unfairly again, or B, to make sure that other people aren't being treated unfairly in that same way. It's to make sure everyone knows that they've been treated unfairly, and that somehow makes them a better person.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. No, yeah. So, overall...
So anyway, that's my first major problem with this. My second major problem with this is specifically targeted at the people who are burning their Nike merchandise. Come on, guys, really? Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know that there are homeless people and, like, starving people and people who literally die on the streets every day of, like, hypothermia because they don't have clothes? And you're just, like, gonna fucking burn your stuff? Like, let's be real here. How fucking privileged do you have to be upset about an ad that a company ran and to burn your fucking clothes? How privileged? And, like, completely unaware of society. Right? Like, you have to be so in your own universe of being privileged. I don't know. It's just, like, that, again, is something that, like, blows my mind. I don't know. It's like, there it is.
Yeah, white privilege.
It's not even just white privilege, though. Right? It's just like privileged person privilege.
Privileged person privilege.
Yeah.
So you are a privileged person of privilege.
Preface this with white privilege doesn't exist. That's not a thing, right? There are people who are privileged and there are people who are not privileged, right? And all of the people who are privileged are not white.
Hold on, I gotta take a side note. Can you say preference?
Privileged people.
No. Preference of privileged person privilege.
Can you say it? I don't even know what you want me to say.
No, preference
of
privileged person privilege 5 times fast.
Preference of... What? Privileged person
privilege.
Privilege?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. Did I say that?
Yeah. You sure did.
You did like 3 times in a row.
I just want you to say it 5 times fast because it's like impossible to say like
preference of privileged person privilege.
Yeah.
Preference of privileged person privilege. Privilege.
That's 2.
What am I saying?
I don't know.
Preference.
Yep.
Of privileged persons.
Yeah. That have privilege.
Oh, of privilege?
I don't know. You're just saying like preference of privileged person privilege.
The preference of...
And it's so hard to fucking say.
Privileged persons. Anyway.
There's a lot of P's. We're really good at alliteration.
White privilege is a myth. Doesn't exist. Right? Just because there are more white people who fall into the category of privileged person than there are other people doesn't mean that all white people are privileged somehow.
Yeah. Well, it's like the... like a test score things for like colleges, they have to have like so many of each race.
Yeah.
White people actually don't get fucked by this. Asian people get fucked by this.
Yeah.
Like hard.
Oh yeah.
Like the amount of like it was like studies show that like for an Asian person to get into like a general like Ivy League school, they have to score like 10 to 15% higher than like a white person. Just because of like the competitiveness in between like their own ethnic group.
Oh yeah.
Is so high that they're literally like competing with themselves to see like who gets fucked. But like the white people are next, and then it's the Black and Latino like group that like get in like a lot easier. But like everyone's like there's a lot more white people, so obviously everyone here is super privileged. Of persons of privilege.
Yeah. No, actually, I think in America right now there's actually. There's a spectrum, right, of like oppression that people like to use to measure, like how oppressed is the group that they belong to, right? And we're meant to believe that, right, if this is the spectrum, right, where here is very oppressed and here is very privileged, right, that white people are like over here.
Yeah.
And pretty much everyone who's not white is over here, right? And it's like actually really not true. And this doesn't even just go for ethnic. It's also like for like the gender roles are also this way. But we're actually to a point where it's, in reality, pretty much everyone is like in this range, right? And actually the white people are over here. And everyone else is over here. So, because and at one point in time, I certainly agree that like it was white people here, and I'm confusing myself on which hand is oppressed now because it's opposite on the screen. I'm like,
Everyone's oppressed.
Who's oppressed and who's privileged? I have no fucking
We're all
idea.
oppressed. We should all just kill ourselves.
But I mean, it's kind of like as it's gotten closer and closer over the years with like civil rights movements and whatnot, we've actually ended up with a reversal where the people who were at one point marginalized feel like to make up for the fact that they've been discriminated against, they have to then go and discriminate against the people who discriminated against them.
Can you draw me like a picture for that?
Yeah, it just goes like this.
Everyone gets fucked.
Everyone gets fucked.
Alright, I'm gonna change topics so we get off politics for a minute. Because I went to Hobby Lobby the other day.
Oh no.
Which I told you about this briefly.
Oh no.
Because I went looking for a puzzle.
Hobby
Because I
Lobby.
need puzzles.
Believe in something.
So, even if it means putting up your fucking Christmas decorations in September!
Even if it means that.
Because, like, I'm like,
Believe in
oh, hey,
Christmas.
look! Here's the Halloween stuff, and it's like one fucking table, right? And I walk past that, and I'm in an aisle of Christmas already getting butt-fucked by Frosty.
You just, like, started yelling.
Yeah, dude, I'm upset about this. It is September, alright? We don't need Christmas stuff yet. Get that shit out of here. October's not even here with the best, like, fucking holiday, which is Halloween. If you don't think so, you can fucking fight me. We're just skipping over that? I mean, like, I get it, fuck Thanksgiving, because, like, whatever, we fuck the Indians, and we're supposed to be thankful about it. Woohoo, yeah, good white people there. You know what, that's our bad. I'll take credit for that one. But, like...
Oh, we went full circle on this one,
sure
guys.
did.
Wow.
But, like, come on, can we at least wait till October's done to put up Christmas shit?
See, yeah, in my book, the day that Christmas goods should be allowed to be sold is the day after Halloween.
Yeah, I think that's fine. When I was growing up as a kid, it was always like the day after Thanksgiving. It was like, alright, strap in, Jimmy. We're fucking putting up Christmas lights.
Mm-hmm.
Like today. All of them are going up. And that's what you did on the Friday. Like with your dad, he would give you like a knot, like the Christmas vacation knot of like lights, and you'd be like, untie this.
Yeah, and it takes you like 5 hours.
Yeah, and you just sit there and you untangle the knot for like ever. Mainly because you're like 7 and you need something to do.
And then you find out that like half the bulbs don't work anyway, and you just go buy new ones. So.
Yeah, and then you go buy new ones, and it's really just a ploy to keep you busy as a kid, because like I understand it now more as I'm like an adult. Keeping kids occupied is the
You're
best.
not an adult.
I try to be. There, see, look,
Oh,
we got
we've
a
got dog.
There's the dog. This
Oh, hello.
So-
Dog break? Doggo break?
Intermission.
Doggo intermission.
Can you see your pet? Good girl.
Welcome, special
So
guest
this is
Oreo.
Oreo. She is basically my dog. The other one, Obi, is more of Rhiannon's dog.
Mhm.
Who's over here. She's a good girl. She's the best.
Best dog.
Best dog ever.
Number one dog in A.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Maybe world. Could be the world's best dog.
Yeah, so this is Oreo. We'll have dogs on the podcast. They'll show up, because they like to hang out. Huh.
Yes.
You-
Oh,
she's just-
such love.
thanks.
And goodbye.
Well, she's just completely tired. Good girl.
Anyway,
Oh,
yeah.
you
So,
can still see
so I think though that it's important to have Christmas goods available to be purchased before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because I think in a lot of households, Thanksgiving and Christmas are all just kind of part of the same holiday season.
Yeah,
You know?
that's why you have the holiday seasons, especially because like Hanukkah's in there as well,
Mhm.
where you can like purchase a whole bunch of stuff. Because we actually have like a relatively large Jewish population in America.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
It surprised me because I learned that like last year. I was like, oh, you know what? That makes a lot of sense because it's one of like the 3 like major religions.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So it makes sense to a lot of people. I don't know where I'm going with that.
Trivia question? What are the 3 most popular religions in the world?
Buddhism's one of them. Buddhism, Christianity, and Judaism.
Pretty sure you're wrong.
I'm pretty sure Buddhism is, like, numbers-wise, way higher than, Judaism. There's a lot of fucking people in Asia.
I think you're thinking of Hinduism. Buddy.
No, you're right. I am thinking of Hinduism.
There aren't a whole lot of Buddhists left, I don't think.
No. No, Hinduism's what I meant. But no, because there's so many...
Okay, and then what about America?
America?
Yeah.
Christianity's got to be number one.
For sure.
For sure. Catholicism's probably up there as well, because they always
Well,
make the cuss that there's a difference. Oh, I went to a Christian school. There's a fucking difference, my friend.
Yeah,
They will fucking burn you at the stake in that argument.
Okay, alright.
Because
Okay.
Christianity is all about fucking Jesus and how he's
Wait,
just
they like to fuck Jesus?
dude, they want him to fuck them. They're fucking him. It's all in the beard. There's a lot of fucking. All right, you ever read the Bible? The first 17 chapters are all about people fucking each other.
That's true. I mean, that's just facts.
But Catholicism's all about the Trinity, so the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's the
They
difference.
definitely teach that in Christianity also.
Not nearly as significant. It's there, but it's all about Jesus.
Right,
Christianity
but it's
is
all
just
the
Jesus.
same. It's the same. They believe the same things, right?
Yeah. No,
Like-
they're different.
It's not different.
It is.
That's like saying, okay, if I have a stick,
Yep.
right, that's painted green, and you have a stick that's painted red,
Yep.
right, and then someone comes along and is like, hey, there's two dudes holding sticks, right, and then we're like, whoa, don't
Hey.
fucking associate me with him. He has a fucking red stick.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what it is.
There's and the dude is confused because I don't understand. They're both just sticks.
Well, okay,
Right?
but you can break religion down to a lot of that, where they teach a lot of the same moral principles, just religions in general, except for Islam, who teaches blowing people the fuck up.
They don't actually teach that though.
Dude, they teach that a lot.
No, only the radicals do.
No.
The actual religious texts don't say anything about killing other people.
Are you kidding? Have you read them?
Yes.
I've read them. Did we read the same things?
God, I
The
hope
religious
so.
texts literally are about Muhammad starts in the beginning, the very first half of it is actually really legitimate, talks about morality and stuff. But he says in the beginning is if I say something else later that contradicts the beginning, you should follow the later thing. And then the later thing is where he got very radical in his beliefs, where you should actually just exterminate anyone that doesn't believe the same things as you do. That's where you get the thing of the 72 virgins, because you martyr yourselves in the name of Allah. That's what they teach.
I think that may have been misinterpreted.
Absolutely not. The religion
I think so.
of Islam
I think so.
is not peaceful at all. It's all about either you're with us or you're against us. And if you're against us, we're going to kill you.
I mean, because here's the thing, right? Is most religions have some sort of story where the main characters, right? The group, the civilization, right? Went and just fucked up somebody else,
I mean, yeah, I guess.
right? In the Bible, Egypt gets fucking destroyed,
Dude, Egypt is
right? Everyone,
When Moses
if you
comes to town and
lived
they're
in
like,
Egypt
fuck.
at that point in time, right, you didn't have a say in anything, right? It's all on the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh's the only dude that gets to decide anything, right? And he's just fuck you, right? And then everyone in Egypt just gets totally fucked. Their kids die, their crops die, there's fucking insects everywhere, there's no food, right? It literally starts raining fire,
Yep.
right? It's what did they do?
Fuck.
What did they do? They didn't do shit.
They died. That's what
They fucking died, right? But what's the moral of the story here? I guess that we should make it rain fire on people who have slaves.
I know. That sounds like a good plan. Child raperers.
Child
The child raperers.
Anyway, back to the Christmas.
Yeah, like the fucking
Christmas thing.
No, okay, I get that Christmas, for stores wise, is such a huge profit time, and they're trying to extend it out as much as they can. That's why we keep seeing it earlier and earlier. But what point do we December 25th comes and the next day they're all right guys, gotta get ready for Christmas, and we turn into Happy Gilmore trying to train for next year's hockey tryouts. We're stuck in the cage getting blasted by Christmas presents. 366 more days till Christmas, gotta toughen up! Whoop boom!
Oh.
Sorry, can scare you?
Hmm.
At what point do we get there?
Pretty soon.
Pretty soon?
Well, look, here's the thing. Okay, you know how there's that one guy in every neighborhood who is too lazy to take down their Christmas decorations.
Yep.
Right? So it's like literally the middle of summer and people still have their Christmas lights up.
Yeah, if you look
Right.
at our
Have
tree.
you seen our deck?
And then by the time, yeah, it's actually them. Yeah, it's just talking shit casually here, right? But then it's like by the time that you're like, you finally get to the point where you're like, you know what, I really should take these down now, and you like finally have a free weekend where you're like, I'm gonna take the Christmas decorations down, and then you look at the calendar and you're like, you know what? It's been 7 months since Christmas. There's only 5 left to go until it's Christmas again. I might as well just leave them up, right? And then you get yourself in a perpetual cycle where you just have Christmas lights on your house all the time, right? And then they're not Christmas lights; they're just lights, right? And then you're just the festive house in the neighborhood. That's your excuse, right? You're just pepping it up, you know? Unless you have an HOA that actually like makes you take them down. Do you have an HOA here?
We don't have one at all.
Half the
Dude,
people
that's the
park
best.
in their lawns here.
Yeah.
Or they paint their houses bright fucking pink. Like neon pink. There was a house in town that was like neon fucking pink ever since like I was born till probably like 2 or 3 years ago. It was just obnoxious. You would come into town and it would like be shining up like the heavens were coming down onto it. And you'd be like, holy fuck, what's that house? And you drive by and it's this old couple. Like, oh, I'm Brian. I'm like, yeah, because you fucking looked at your house, stared at it for too long, and you went blind.
Hey, speaking of blind people.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, I know where you're going with this. Oh my god.
Whoa, look at this
Okay.
segue. This was almost like it was planned,
Dude,
except it wasn't.
It totally wasn't. Okay, so.
Wow, just fucking slid
Man, I
that
really
one
wish
right
we
in there.
had the thing pulled up.
The
for
picture?
The picture. But the fucking Baltimore Orioles. Somebody had
Who the fuck is that?
The Baltimore Orioles are a baseball team in Baltimore. If you don't know where Baltimore is, go to fucking map. But they had the brilliant idea of being the first team ever to wear on the back of their jerseys spelled out in Braille. So for blind people.
Yeah.
Who the fuck came up with that idea? What board meeting was that? Because we were talking about it. It's like, all right, guys, you know the viewership that we're lacking in the least is blind people. So what we should do is televise that we're gonna put Braille on the back of their jerseys so we can get more blind people to watch.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have silent movie night and invite them all over.
Right,
Jesus
except
Christ.
you'll have subtitles in Braille.
But like, holy shit! Like, isn't that like? I'm surprised nobody blew up about that for like it being super offensive. Well, I guess none of the blind people actually saw it, but
Right, well, because here's the thing, I have to imagine, right, that a pretty small percentage of blind people are baseball fans, right? Because the only way that they get access to that is probably through like the radio broadcasts, right?
Yeah.
And sure, that's great, but I think a lot is taken away from the sport when you don't get to see what's going on. You know,
Yeah.
It's hard to appreciate it as much. You know, so I have a hard time believing, first of all, that there are a large percentage of blind people who are baseball fans, and maybe I'm wrong about that. Right? I don't actually know. I have no information
I
to base this
feel
on.
like that's a pretty safe assumption
Right.
that there's not a large population of blind people. I don't even say are sports fans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
in
in
general.
general.
Yeah.
I would say you have a higher chance of people that could see when they were younger that like had an accident and turned blind.
Mm.
I'm sure most of those people were sports fans.
Yeah, for sure.
That's probably the population of blind people that are really sports fans.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
I could be wrong.
But anyway,
you know-
the point is, right, first, like, it's like, what's the point here, right? That's my first question. What's the point, right? And the second question is, like, even assuming that you had a point that was valid, how is this the solution? I don't get it. Nothing about this makes any sense to me.
No, it makes zero sense. Like, I don't even understand, like, what possible, like, pitch they could have given to where, like, the owner of the team was like, I'm all about this.
The only thing that I can come up with that makes any sense, right, is that the idea was to give the general populace some sort of taste of what it's like to not be able to understand things, right? So to put the braille on the back of the, on the back of the jerseys, like, obviously no one is going to be able to read that shit.
Yeah.
Right? There's maybe... I'm going to make a very bold statement here. I would predict that less than 0.5% of the people who watched that game were actually able to interpret the names on those jerseys.
I think you got a pretty fair guess there. I used to be able to read Braille, but I only learned it for the intensive purposes of playing Pokemon. With, like, the secrets that you would come up to when they were in Braille. I learned to read it for that. So I'm sure there's a bunch of other fucking idiots like me, right? And there's this circle here, which are those people, and then there's the circle of people that watch baseball, right? And then it kind of like clinks at the tip.
Right, where it's like just you.
It's like two dicks docking, like when you get like one dick stuck in a Chinese finger trap with another dick and they're trying to pull out and they keep hitting. That's what it's like. So every now and then, when you get, like, the little touch, that's another, like, connection you got of people that, like, understand Braille because they play Pokemon. If you But... we lost him. He's gone. One in, I've broken him.
Oh, fuck. A Chinese dick trap, you say? Oh, wow.
Dude, that was almost as good as the one explanation I gave you of the lady that took the diarrhea pills to avoid getting pregnant. Okay, I'll tell that really quick, just because I was really funny. So, I guess there's a story of a lady that was pregnant. Took a bunch of diarrhea medications so she wouldn't shit. So she wouldn't accidentally give birth. Right? So as certain as that sounds, I'm thinking to myself this time, like, I gotta think of something to, like, be devil's advocate here. And for whatever reason, I figured it out. So when, like, you're peeing, right? And your body's like, oh, I see you are getting rid of some things. Wouldn't it be nice if we also pooped at the same time? And normally you can be like, hold on, I'm standing at a urinal, I gotta go sit down. And sometimes your body's like, yeah, it's good. Other times it's like, nuh-uh, you're shitting right now, and you gotta like backflip into the urinal or you just shit on the floor. It's kind of like that with a baby, right? So you're taking a dump, and your body's like, okay, I see you're exerting this, and you're carrying a baby. Wouldn't it be nice if we just plop that out at the same time? And you're like, nuh-uh, and your body's like, nope, we're doing it. It's like, fuck. So you take the medication in order for that not to happen. That was the only possible scenario I could think of, like, how that would make sense. And for whatever reason I couldn't do it now, I said it in, like, some weird, like, southern redneck accent, which is really what I think made you laugh to begin with. So that was that story. But yeah, anyway, so back to the Braille thing. There's no reason for it.
Yeah.
Think a little bit harder. Really, okay, the borderline, like, whole, like, moral of this podcast is think a little bit about your advertisements before you do them.
Oh, no, Nike didn't.
Actually,
back to the Nike thing, like, honestly, that ad was pretty brilliant. They definitely did their research. Like, if you look at the numbers, there's a vastly higher number of people who are, like, already Nike consumers who are a fan of Colin Kaepernick than there are people who just like him.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And also, it brought, like, a lot of attention to Nike. But, like, I guess, like, if you're trying to just bring attention to yourself, because I know there's a lot of people that don't watch Orioles games because they suck. They're the worst team in baseball right now. It's not close. I think they're at 44 and 110. I may be, like, off by 1 or 2 games, but, like, Jesus fucking Christ, you guys suck. I bet actually people watched that game. Because they were like, I can't believe they actually fucking did this. And so they watched the game. That was probably their most viewed game of the year. Especially by blind people. They probably have 3 viewers.
Dude, they went up from 2. Wow, that's a 50% increase.
Holy shit.
No, honestly, I bet you it had a lower than average viewer count because I bet you a lot of people like fucking turned it off.
I
No,
don't think so.
that's probably not.
I think a lot of people like. I bet the viewer like duration like wasn't long. Like not a lot of people watched like the whole duration of the game. But there's like considerable more people that would like go to the game or like click it on their TV, just be like, did they actually do this? And they're like, holy shit, they did it. All right, anyway, and that was it. But I'm sure they're like viewing or like fuck, I can't speak anymore. Their general like views just like shot up, but like in small increments. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't think anyone really gives a fuck, though.
It's kind of like when you, like you're on YouTube and you see the clickbait that's like girls with big boobs, and you're like, oh, I'm sure that's not actually in there. But I want to look. And so you click on the video and
Why
you're
would you
like,
fucking click on that?
you don't want to see boobs?
Dude, if I wanted to see boobs, I would just go watch porn. There's no porn on YouTube. So, let's be real here.
Okay. Last thing, because we're at 35 minutes. People that pay for porn, you are the dumbest people I've ever met. Porn's free, man. Like, what are you paying for? Like, ooh,
Better porn?
we get an extra shot of this chick getting banged by this other dude for $9.99, and you're like, ooh, I've never had sex before. I did.
Are you calling that?
Oh, God. You're just like describing my life.
Do you pay for porn? Don't tell me you're one of these people.
No. I know a lot of people who do that.
Oh God.
See, the thing is though, like, if you're watching free porn, sometimes it takes a long time to actually find anything worth watching. Right? You have to like scroll through pages of bullshit. Right?
Yeah. I don't know. Sorry. I haven't watched porn in a while. I haven't watched porn in like how long have we been dating?
There you go.
2.5 years? Like 2 years and 6 months. Yeah.
You're missing out.
Dude, you're probably right.
Wow.
Although, actually, honestly, that's not entirely true. I did click on Pornhub one time. It was when they did, what was it, Cornhub for, like, April Fool's Day.
Oh yeah, dude, that was so good.
I don't know if it was this year or last year, but I was like, that's actually fucking hysterical.
They do
and
something-
they had, like, ASMR, like, corn videos.
Yeah. No,
It
they
was
do-
really
they do it
fun.
every year where they change like one letter. I think this year it was Hornhub.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was like a bunch of trumpets and shit.
That's
It was
really awesome. Yeah, it's like, I clicked on one, and it was just like this dude, like, slowly eating corn. It was like a weird, like, ASMR thing. I was like, it was really funny.
You can say what you want about Pornhub, but they have some fucking amazing PR.
That's fair. Porn relations.
Porn relations? Yeah.
That's
Customer relations? I don't know. Whatever it is, they do a great job.
Do you think there's a video on Pornhub of, like, a dick in a Chinese finger trap with another dick?
I don't know, let's look it up.
Let's do it. Rhiannon, you're on it. Good job. 110%. For
For
$9.99.
those of you who can't see, which is all of you, she just kind of went like this to the air.
Nice.
Which maybe is something I'll rant about next time.
There you go.
Fast and the Furious.
Alright,
Oh,
I think
wow.
we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you for all of, like, the ones of you that watch this.
There's nobody watching.
I mean, not right now.
There's
But
no
we're
way you
gonna
will
we're gonna
watch
post
this.
it up on YouTube and Facebook. I'm sure we'll get people watching on
Look,
Facebook.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. If you're listening to me right now and you actually watched this whole thing, first of all, I'm really sorry. But second of all, get some help.
Third of all, just kill yourself.
That's what I'm gonna do.
But anyway, if you want us to talk about like something or even like revisit a topic that you're like, I want you to talk about this because I think this way about Colin Kaepernick. I want to like have sex with his hair. Let's
I
know.
didn't say anything about his hair.
I actually like his hair. It's like super huge.
It is.
It's nice and fluffy. But anyway, if you have anything you want us to talk about, just throw it in the comments, shoot me a text. I don't care. If most of you that watch this probably have my number. We'll talk about it and we'll rant on it. But yeah, I think that's it. Anything closing statements?
No, not really.
Anything closing statements, Rhiannon? Count on you.
No.
Close it out. What do you got?
Send us home.
Obi has been asleep this whole time and didn't bite Matt once. So I'm proud of Obi.
Go.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Oreo's a
He's
real
making a
champ.
good dog.
Alright, Rhiannon, hit skip. Bye!